Welcome to The League Has Spoken episode. God, I don't know what episode this is. We have a little bit of a change up this week. Bree and I are traveling. We're here. I'm coming to you from Scott and Sharon's basement. We're traveling for the Easter holiday and then soon off to Mexico for a wedding. And Kyla is also traveling to Baltimore for the holiday. And so we thought we'd change things up, which is either great news or terrible news, depending on how you feel about us personally. If it's great news, please keep it to yourself. And if it's bad news, feel free to let me know. So we've asked Megan and Mikey, your lead contributors to the show, not full hosts. I want to be very clear. This does not mean they are full host level, but they are contributors and they are in our work group chat. So they are going to take it from here. I will come back in, don't worry, to do a pre-recorded league-wide update. So basically, all the information that really matters, they're going to handle the episode breakdown, and I'm sure they're going to do a great job. You're in good hands, or you're not. I don't really know. Taking a big risk with this intro because I am recording this before they have even told me when they're recording, let alone getting the footage to me. So hopefully they knocked it out of the park. And if they did, I told you so. You had nothing to worry about. And if they didn't, this intro is going to look real bad in hindsight. So with that, good luck to Mikey and Megan, and see you on the other side.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Welcome in, everyone. You're probably wondering who is taking over our screens, but it is actually just two people who may or may not be sitting in the bottom half of the league. And we decided to overtake. Well, we'll figure that out later. But we decided to overtake this podcast and overthrow the people rigging this league. You all, the fans in Survivor 50, hands of the fans. This time we took hands of the fans of the league. Bree, Pat, and Kyla, they got ousted for this week. They're on Exile Island. And instead, you have your hosts, me, Mikey, and my co-host for the week.
Hello,
It's-
everyone. Mikey and I really just wanted more of a segment than just tea time and Mikey's move of the week. That's what happened.
Correct. We just decided that we have so much, like, that scene in Mean Girls where it's like, I just have so many feelings, right? Like, that's Megan and I actually about Survivor right now. It's been great. So, without further ado, I forget what episode we're even on. Pat obviously does a much better job of what the episode number is, but you'll see it in the thumbnail what this episode number is. So, we will wish you luck in reading that instead. So, we had a fun episode.
Yeah. Should we get into spoilers?
Yeah, I was gonna say, now that we're gonna talk about the episode, cue the spoiler alert.
All right.
Okay.
So we start on the
Yeah,
beach, right?
right. We're starting on the beach. I mean, we come from a double elim, kind of
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah. And honestly, it was very short on the beach. Not
Yeah.
much happened. I mean, I do think it was interesting. The only thing they really highlighted was Dee and Jonathan trying to, bridge that. Obviously, Jonathan was blindsided with the whole Charlie move, so
Mm.
you just see a lot of like Jonathan trying to not be on the bottom of the tribe. He sees the writing on the wall, given how the last tribal played out, and he's trying to make amends with D. And D seems willing to work with him, I would say.
So what's really funny to me is the quote that he like throws in. He's like, "Oh, to save myself in this game, like it's a long shot, but it's a shot I have to take." Of like working with Dee and Camilla. And everyone will find out if you watch the episode, you know what I'm referring to, and we'll
Weird.
talk about it later. That he says this
I
and
know.
doesn't really mean anything by it. So
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, but that was really it. No one really cared about Angelina. R.I.P. Angelina. There was literally no love lost.
No,
There was
nothing.
nothing like nothing brought up other than she got
No,
eliminated. Yeah, it was really just that was the only thing that needed to be
no,
mended. It wasn't even like Charlie's name was not even brought up. It was
no.
literally just Jonathan being like, "Hey
I was
D, like."
blindsided.
Are we okay? Even though you just went against me. And she was like, yeah, dog, we're fine. And that was literally it. It was
Yeah.
kind of stupid. I don't know why they included it because I feel like there was much more drama in the episode we'll get into later on that we'll talk about because we have a boat.
Woo!
Stay calm. Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure? Stay wait. Everybody calm down. No.
Cue the boat,
Oh,
Pat.
oh, oh.
So yeah, it was pretty funny because it's literally Dee and Jonathan, and they're like, "Oh look, there's a boat," and Dee's like, "It's coming right towards us." Like, no, duh, Dee. Like, yes, that's
Yes,
the
yes,
point
it
of
is,
them.
D.
So I just thought that was really funny. So, boat shows up to New Sela, New Calo, and no boat. Well, no, sorry, there was a boat that shows up to Vasu because they delivered them the note. So everyone gets delivered a note, and shocker, Tiff finally got camera time. Wow.
Finally. She got
Finally. Guys,
a
she
lot
like
this
tripled
episode.
her confessionals this week. It was insane.
Mm.
So if you actually wanted to watch Tiff play, now's your time for all of you fake fans that took her on your team instead of, me, the real fan that's always been riding with Tiff. She finally got her screen time, so I'm glad you get to watch her play. But she gets to read the note. Ozzy read his note on Vatu, and then I forgot who read the note.
Rizzo.
Um, oh, Rizzo. So they
Because
really, yeah.
D thinks he can't read.
Correct. D was like, "We're very concerned here, Rizzo. Go ahead."
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so here we are. Everyone's reading. Drop Your Buffs gets announced, and we're all heading to the Vatu beach, which I just find really funny because Vatu has been the disaster tribe this whole time. So
And they
they
have
are
like nothing.
right,
Like
right.
all
They're
the
shipping them
hammocks are
all.
at Sela and everything.
Literally. Like they said, you have 10 minutes, and I really hope that they were effective in their 10 minutes of gathering materials because
I hope
I
so.
just was like, there was a strategy and then picking
Oh,
what to.
I forgot you. I forgot. You're right. They could. So they probably moved the hammocks, but
I
yeah,
hope. I really
I
hope.
hope they
They
did.
weren't featured nearly as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then in this time, everyone is like, oh shoot, we're merging, so I need to start like honing in on my allies
Yep.
of we need to talk some strap before we are on a beach with 17 people.
Crazy.
Like
17 people is insane.
wild. So like again, this is a little bit of a preemptive. We'll talk about it later, but like I think everyone watching knew that there was going to be some crazy like you know what hitting the fan soon because yeah, like 17 and we're 12 days into the season. Crazy. So anyway, we have our like some small alliances starting to work together and they're like, let me go figure out what I need to chat about with them, including Ozzy going to Emily and Christian and being like, "Well, I they trusted me with like these things. They voted with me. Christian trusted me with a shot in the dark. So I'm going to tell them I have an idol." And Ozzy, I know you probably have thoughts on this,
I
Megan.
yeah.
I
I
just
screamed at the
right
TV.
of all the people to tell Ozzy, like
I
Emily's
I
the last
wasn't
one.
So as you guys know, everyone watching knows Ozzy's on my team. I'm an Ozzy stan. I understood why he said that to Christian because of the whole thing. Like they definitely needed
Yes.
to fix it.
The,
So I
yeah, the
understand
Christian
when
made sense.
for sure. But when he told Emily first, I was like,
I was waiting for her to literally run around in 2 seconds to start telling everyone. She was like, "Oh, the secret is safe with me. I won't tell anyone." I was like, "Yeah, right, Emily. You're itching to tell someone."
yeah,
So I just thought it was really funny that of all things, and so that was really only like the one small band alliance that was like we need to like hone
yeah.
this in. Genevieve really didn't do much, like even though she had like Devins and Sari. I don't know, are they working together anymore? I don't really know.
Yeah,
Because
I don't know on that one too. I was
right.
thinking the same thing. Is that one kind of out? I don't know.
Yeah, they were just like again, all of those like little ones from like their OGs that transferred with them in the tribe swap. I feel like all of them just kind of disbanded.
Mhm.
So but some of them resurrect a little bit later on, which we'll get to chatting about. So they all get onto Vatu. Everyone unloads onto I don't even know what the new it's something with an
Ma-
M. I yeah.
Manalevo or
So,
something?
yeah, something that is
Monalevo?
yeah, a very native tongue pronunciation that I will not be butchering on camera. Uh,
After I just did. Sorry, everyone.
but then Christian basically goes on this monologue about everyone, and how like amazing it is to get to be playing with all these players. And he's like, here comes Chrissy, like, and he's like, you almost won. Like, I was like, Christian, that was kind of a dig. That wasn't really that kind. And then he's like, and here's Jonathan Young. He's a large man.
Yeah.
Like, did you know that? Like, so I really appreciated his commentary. Rizzo's was way funnier though.
I will say, I sorry, you say why you think it was funny. I actually thought it was really wholesome. Like
Like,
seeing them
so
all get together,
I
it
just
was
like
kind of cute.
right? Like, here's Rizzo being like, I finally get to meet Ozzy. Little does he know
Yeah.
how much he gets to meet Ozzy. Then he's like,
Yeah.
8-year-old Rizzo's meeting Coach Ben Wade. And I was like, that's foul that he was 8 years old when Coach first
hmm
started playing Survivor.
hmm
Like crazy to think about. Granted, Rizzo and I are the same age. So like that does like,
I
just
mean, it tracks. It
right. I
tracks.
think about it, right? And then when Colby is like the first person to greet Rizzo and he gives him this big hug, I was like,
So cute.
imagine day one Colby ever doing that. Wouldn't have happened. So it's just
It
really
was
funny to me.
it was very wholesome and very cute, I will say. Like seeing them, like you said, like just like knowing like all these people that like fans like, Dee and Rizzo and all these people that grew up watching the show and then they're like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, here you are in real life."
Right. It was, oh my God, so funny. But yeah, so literally like nothing too crazy. Obviously, Christian and Devins link back up,
Mhm.
trying to make sure that they're still like, working together, which they definitely are.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
and that's just kind of how it goes. Then we kind of get into like Beach Part 2
Mhm.
post-merge. And boy, do we start loose lips go like that.
Rumor
I
mill is
mean,
flying.
info just
Flying.
unfolds. It literally, and it started off with Genevieve. Genevieve started fishing, and she
Mhm.
started trying to get some information out. She goes, sits with Sari, and she goes, Sari, what do you know about Aubrey? Sari immediately, oh yeah, she's got some kind of an idol. Boom. I was like, whoa, all right,
Whoa.
starting hot.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden, it's Coach and Joe are chatting about who has an idol. Like, it was just
Yeah.
insane how quickly everything kind of spread. It was literally wildfire. And yeah, is I think truly Jonathan becomes the only person maybe that didn't actually know who had any idol to begin with.
Oh my God,
Which
you're
are
right.
we
The only one who's
surprised?
like, what?
No. Like the
No.
man, I lift heavy things. I don't have anything up here, right? Is that's
No.
Jonathan for you? Um, yeah, is kind of crazy. And then Coach makes the most like he's just I
Are you
can't
talking about
ever
when he
not.
counted?
Yep. I was going to talk about how he was objectifying Jonathan basically the whole time. He's like, this is what you were exactly what I wanted to be when I first played this game. Like,
What?
just weird, dude. Like, you
Also,
already have been on
like,
a beach with him before. That's the
and
craziest part.
well, that's also true. Yes, I forgot. They were on
Right. They
original
were on original
Hollow
Calo
together.
together. Right.
Yeah, so what? You're right. I
Weird.
didn't even think about that. I was just like, yes, Jonathan looks great without a shirt on, but like, what are you doing? Also, they're totally different people. Being like, I
Right.
wanted to be like you, like, coach, you look nothing like him.
Literally,
Come
never
on.
have looked. And then if you literally like the best part is you learn later in the episode because it shows you Coach's
Yes.
original season what he looked like when he first played Survivor. Easily, Jonathan outweighs him by
Coach, you
150
look more like
pounds.
Rizzo.
Correct. Literally looks more like Rizzo with long hair. Like
I'm sorry.
insane.
I'm
Insane.
sorry, coach.
And it was just so funny because obviously Jonathan is the only quote unquote new era player that is like chatting with the old era.
Yes. Yes.
In terms of, and I say that by meaning the old era that aren't Ozzy and Suri.
Hmm.
Do with
My
that information what
queens.
you will, but
My
I hope you
queens up
all
here.
understand the inference that I'm making in that.
Yes.
Yeah, so Jonathan is talking about that and saying how all the old era players respect his game because he's loyal, blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah, all these things. But he wants to play a different style game. I don't know. What were
Someone
your thoughts?
Someone, I'm trying to remember who. Someone tells Suri two of these people that are playing together. Maybe it was Rizzo. I don't know. Someone tells her, like, oh, these, you got to watch out for, you can see on my screen at the bottom, these people down here, the honor and integrity people. And she was like, oh, all old school. All old school. And she's like, fishing around. The only thing that I really had about this was I am glad that I really like this little alliance of Rizzo, Suri, and Ozzy. And I
Might be the
know,
quote of the episode. I'm sorry. Might be the quote of the
I
episode from
know.
Suri.
Oh yes, yes. But I think obviously it was very strategic of like her and Ozzy,
Oh,
I feel like are just playing
genius.
very strategic right now and are like immediately came together. We're like, hey, they know this, everyone knows all this stuff. No one knows about the extra vote. We're gonna keep
Right.
it like that. And then Suri was like, okay, but you need to make friends with Rizzo because of this,
Correct.
you know? And
Correct.
I just feel like they're doing a really good job of being like very strategic like that, her and Ozzy. And then yes, she gave us the quote of the episode that she's in a polyamorous relationship.
He's over here. She catches up with Ozzy. She chatted with Rizzo. She's over here. I'm in a poly relationship with, and then starts cackling to herself. And I was like, I just love Suri Fields with all of my heart.
It
I
was
also
so
find it really
funny.
funny that here we are post merge, where Jenna and Savannah both said Suri can't make it past this point, or she will be the most dangerous player in the game. Well,
And
look what happened, my friends. Look who
she
is
is,
in
she
the
is.
most dangerous part of the game for like
I
she will unfortunately for everyone else who does not have her aka me. Suri might start running things.
mhm.
So yeah, but that's not where the fun stops because we're not even a couple hours into merge when
Mhm.
we get a nice fun little another boat.
Boat part two. Woohoo! So this boat comes and does Tiff read this one too? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
So
Tiff was she somehow knew that she was getting edited out while playing the game.
yeah, she was like, let me grab
Somehow.
this. Yeah. So Tiff goes, another boat comes, like Mikey and I said, the rumor mill is flying, information is flowing everywhere.
All the
Tiff
idols
goes,
are basically known about except Rizzo's at this point.
yes. Oh, sorry, yeah, we should have mentioned that.
We should have
Everyone
mentioned that.
knows
I
about
realized. Yep.
Ozzy and Aubrey's, yes, but
Yep.
no one knows about Rizzo's idol or sorry, the
Or
only
the
people that know about Rizzo's idol are Suri and Genevieve at this point. Well, I guess
correct.
Ozzy, because Suri
And
told
then
him.
Ozzy, right? Because Suri told him. Yep.
Yes. And then the extra vote
Is
that
only known between
Suri has.
Ozzy, Suri, and Rizzo.
Right. Everyone knows Aubrey and Ozzy have idols now, everyone.
Yep.
So Tiff gets the note from the boat. She comes and reads it, and it basically is very vague and just says,
Super ominous.
yeah, there's an advantage on the island. Everybody ready, set, go. Find it.
Literally,
Um,
I think the words
so
on it were like the twist may change the out like the rest of the game or something along the lines of like being super dramatic. And I was just like,
yes.
oh shoot, what's gonna happen?
Hmm. I don't know what you well we can get into how it goes and then I'll say what I thought was gonna happen. So everyone starts booking it, starts running
Running.
around looking for which listen, I get it. I assumed it was one of those challenge,
Right. Yes,
a
advantages.
challenge
Correct.
advantage,
Yep.
you know?
Especially for
So
first like 17 people against each other, like would have
yes.
been probably a huge thing. Yeah, yeah, agreed.
Mhm. So that's what I assume. The only thing I wrote from this that I thought was hilarious is everyone is running around and Rizzo is walking.
I
He
just like,
literally said, "Why am I gonna run? I ain't gonna find this."
and then camera pans to the tree immediately to his left,
That has
where
the
the, yep,
advantage.
where the, I was like, oh my word, this kid. And
I
people
wrote
like,
down
and that's reasons why I don't like Rizzo, because it's like you're literally just coasting sometimes while other people
he
are like
is,
working their asses off to do this.
in the words of our of Q, he lazy.
He
That boy
right,
lazy.
lazy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get an edit of Christian is really going hard about his strategy and looking for it. And based on this edit, I was like, oh, Christian finds it nice.
Right.
This is good for my team. You know, I have
Correct. Right.
Christian. No, he doesn't find it. And then Ozzy finds it. He's stumbling
Somehow.
around. He finds it in the tree.
I
And
will
our
say though, advantage to the fact that it was Vatu's beach.
oh, that is true. I didn't even think about that. You're right. Because they
Hmm.
have been there now for more
Hmm.
like a week, right? So
Yeah.
that's true. Good point. So Ozzy finds it. He's so excited. He's like, I've been on Survivor so many times, guys. I rarely find anything. I really hope it's not Exile Island. Cue up our, I think we have a GIF of this from
Please.
our
I hope
editor.
there's a GIF.
Cue up our GIF. He opens it and it says, you'll be going to Exile Island.
It says,
No.
congratulations, you found the hidden advantage. You're going to Exile Island.
And poor Ozzy is just like, I do. I did think it was interesting too, the way he played it off. He immediately finds, I don't know if this is intentional or just how it
Hmm.
happened, but he immediately finds Christian and Emily, who he made it a point to make sure he was working with. Like he
Right.
said, he was working with them and he asked them their opinion.
Hmm.
Hey,
Hmm.
somehow it ends up being Rizzo, which genius. Genius
Because,
on
right,
Ozzy.
like we alluded to before, Sari is truly dictating things because Sari told Ozzy before, oh, you need to befriend Rizzo and start getting to know this kid. And
Mhm.
then all of a sudden, Ozzy was like, what other perfect time than to bring him to Exile Island with me where it's just
Yep.
me and him?
And he has a whole conversation with Christian playing strategy, like, because Christian automatically is like, you're going to be safe from the vote. So, like, we
Yes,
need
him
to,
and Emily both said it. Yeah.
yeah, they already were thinking, like, okay, so
Yep.
you don't take someone who we want to get out, but, you
Exactly.
don't want to take someone like us because then people will know that we're in. And
Right.
I don't know. Like I said, from someone like Ozzy, whose strategy is normally garbage, I was like, good job, buddy. I think this was a great move.
I know, I agree. It was interesting because of the fact that like he definitely had the plan beforehand of like, or at
Mm.
least knew that he was going to be like working with Rizzo at some point, right? In the
Oh,
next
yeah.
24 hours. So
Yeah.
like
Yes.
I think that the fact that Ozzy's brain actually worked quickly for once was
Yeah.
impressive. That like
Yes.
he got this, saw that the note said that he was bringing one other person with him and knew before Emily and Christian even chatted with him
Mhm.
that he was going to be taking Rizzo. So like
Yeah.
good for Ozzy. That was a great move. I will say
Mhm.
what's funny though is if you look at that scene again, I watched it the second time this morning. Literally, Tiff is like it up in the background of the shot. So I'm
Oh,
like, girl, how
really?
did you not see this happening? Like, yeah,
Oh,
like it's
maybe
literally
she
like
did.
Ozzy. So maybe she does, and
Maybe
like
she
it just
did.
hasn't been spoken about yet, or the editors just hate Tiff because again, they already do. So
Maybe.
like but you literally see her like up in the back on top of the hill while Ozzy,
Interesting.
Emily, and Christian are chatting. So I'm like, hmm.
Hmm.
But yeah. So again, to me, this was kind of stupid. At the time
Yeah.
that I was watching anyway, it looked stupid. We'll get into why this is actually a great advantage, even though you're going to exile. But it looked really stupid while we're going into first immunity challenge.
Hmm.
Um, but other than that, I didn't really have an opinion on it because it was just kind of, oh, the other thing is that we missed here is Colby is a little more hurt than people thought.
Oh, yes, yes. I
He does
actually,
explain more, right? So that was what I wrote down
yes.
is actually I put Colby's foot is
Yeah. This is
because
when I
he,
was like, poor Brie.
yeah, correct. I mean, we
It's,
already kind of knew that it
yeah,
wasn't a
but
great choice, but
we, for anyone who listened to the pod last week, Brie, Kyla, and I all said that we didn't think Colby was that hurt because they haven't played it up or anything. And then
right. And
first scene we see will be hobbling because he can't run.
It
So
was, in fact, this episode that we learned more about the injury and the extent of it. And yes, he goes into more detail later on in the episode of what he thinks it is, but he's explaining how his foot is hurt so bad that he can't even run. So while Rizzo is just being lazy, Colby is like hobbling around. So like Rizzo, brother,
try.
step it up. Try
Yeah.
a little bit. But with that, Ozzy and Rizzo get sent off to exile.
Yeah.
And we get thrown right into it because we're hopping into the immunity challenge. So, immunity challenge, there's now 15 people in this immunity challenge because we're -2. But this might be the longest intro to an immunity challenge that there ever has been, because there's so much like laid out on the table explaining how the next day was going to go, basically. So they walk in and immediately everyone can see what challenge is going to be done because you see the open rectangles with the little slits hanging out. You know that it's going to be the wall, like the spider wall challenge. You know it. And there's 3 different colors. So if you've watched previous seasons, you know how this works. I believe it was, did they do this in 49 as well? The exact
Mhm.
same, where it was 3
Pretty
different
much.
and
Or it
teams
was
were
either
picked.
3 or
I
2.
think it was only
I
2,
don't
maybe.
remember how many, but they split them up again
They
into.
split them up and you have them in teams. So we'll get into more of it after that. But again, things that I was just noticing as they were walking in, I was like, oh, it's not actually head to head. It's team based. So anyway, they all stand in front of Jeff. Jeff is like, hell yeah, it's merge time. Congratulations. You made it to the largest merge. Doesn't even bring up that Ozzy and Rizzo aren't there. Literally not even a mention. I was like,
No one
cool,
talks about
sick.
that. They're truly
Literally, yep.
exiled. Like,
They truly were exiled, even from talking. So no mention of them whatsoever. Jeff starts getting into how it's, in the hands of the fans, how fans voted on stuff. I was a little confused because I was like, did they really vote on what's happening once it was explained? Because this seemed a little too specific. We start getting into Jeff wanting to talk about like folklore and these natural events that take place and all of the like crazy, not crazy, but just like very off
very
topic
Twilight.
things. Yeah, like very, very much so. Because then all of a sudden we get into what he's calling it the Blood Moon event. So actually, if I can get it back into frame, the pizza actually may or may not be an unpaid actor in this podcast of what the blood moon could have looked like. So Jeff explains that there's a blood moon turning the whole sky red, including over the island, because not 1, not 2, but 3 people will be going home at the end of the night. Crazy. The first time
That
ever
was
in
pretty
Survivor
crazy.
history. So you literally like I forgot who it was, almost like dropped to her knee. I want to say it was like D or someone, maybe Chrissy, like the gasp, like all of the breath leaves them, and it was just like, oh, they're shook. They
Yeah.
are actually so scared that 3 people are going out, which like makes sense because if you're on the bottom anywhere, like yeah, like you're
Yeah.
definitely screwed. Especially for the likes of like Chrissy, who didn't really have that many friends at that point, like made sense. But Jeff explains the blood moon that 3 people will be going out. And I was like, I wonder how this is going. Are we doing a 3-person vote out with all 17 people? But no, we get explained more. So the challenge itself, it is again the spider wall challenge. You have to hang your body weight for as long as possible. The last man standing wins. However, they split up into 3 teams of 5. So are we at a merge or did we just do another tribe swap? You can be the
I
judge.
I know we said we had thoughts about this. I like your first thing that you said better. I wish that they did just we are eliminating 3 people with all 17 of you.
Right.
You
It
know,
would have been a crazy ass vote. Like literally think about it. If you just go one by one, is all 17 of you are voting for one, and then that person leaves. We're re-voting. Now you have to
16 of
vote
you are
for
now.
16 are voting for another one. And then fifth, like that would have
That would
been
have been
so
crazy.
dramatic because then we would have had live tribals too.
And it
Like,
would have been
God
so
forbid we
fun.
think it would have been so cool. So,
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah,
So
you're
either
right. So
way,
you're right. This to me was just a masked tribe swap,
yeah.
really.
Because the same colors get reintroduced. You have a purple, pink, magenta, whatever color you want to call it, team. You have a teal, and you have an orange.
Mhm.
So you go 5v5v5. So we had one team was Chrissy, Jonathan, Steph, Camilla, and Tiff. I immediately was like, that team is amazing for this type of a challenge. Jonathan is the weakest
Mhm.
link because the man is just large and
He's
heavy.
too big. Yeah.
The other teams were one was Sari, Coach, Colby, Dee, and Emily. And then
Mhm.
the last team was Christian, Aubrey, Genevieve, Rick, and Joe. So again, it was last man standing would be the of their group would be the immunity winner. And then the last team standing was going to be winning a reward, which was then brought up after. We give back a reward, and I really hope that I'm going to lob up another GIF opportunity because the reward was Applebee's.
Woo! Yay,
Applebee's
Liz!
Applebee's was brought back, and Liz Wilcox has returned. This would be the opportunity, Pat, to put in the tweet or the Instagram story that Liz posted. For any
I
of
will
you that,
say, tragic Q and Charlie are not here to experience that.
because right, if like the fact
Tragic.
that Tiff is
Because
the
Tiff
only,
wasn't
I
there.
I wish. Oh no, was she
She
gone by that
she
point?
she was so she didn't even, yeah, that's what I mean. Like the only people who witnessed that were Charlie and Q and they're gone.
That is
Messed up.
so sad, actually. Wow.
Messed
I
up.
didn't even think about that. Tiff was already out of the season. So, again, everyone, this is my plug to watch 46 because of how good of a season it was.
Great season. Great
But
season.
anyway, Liz Wilcox is her legacy continues on. We get an Applebee's reward. So, the team that survives the longest gets to go to the sanctuary and get Applebee's served to them. So, again, Jeff runs through the menu for probably like 4 minutes of the episode. And I was just like, Jeff, are you hungry? Are they not feeding you? Like, are we okay?
Joe plugs his ears. He's like,
Right.
stop
They were
talking.
so
Like,
distraught, especially like Jonathan and Joe were pissed because they were like, dude, we are gonna suck at this challenge. So like
yeah,
I know I'm not eating. Like,
I'm
let's
not
stop.
gonna get any steak.
Right. Like it was so sad. So
Yeah.
was really funny to just like hear them all complain and groan because Jeff talked for genuinely 5 minutes about these plates.
Also, when he's explaining it, I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Camilla, stone face, like did not break until
Until
he said, and a classic shark bowl. And she's like, yay.
So she had the shark bowl got her excited, and the spinach and artichoke dip got her real excited. She like broke both times. It was like he said spinach and
So
artichoke dip, and
funny.
she was like, "Bah," and then literally like goes through the burgers, and she's just again stone cold killer. And to
So
wash it
funny.
all down, you get a
Shark
shark
bowl.
bowl, and she was like, "Oh, we're getting
I'm in.
drunk tonight." So yeah, so we kick off the challenge. Everyone gets up onto
Oh,
their little perches. Mm.
wait, sorry. One more thing that Jeff said. Also these people eliminated won't make the jury.
Ooh, yes, this is a very important part, right? Is that this is
Yes.
the final vote out before the jury begins. So,
Mhm.
you could kind of see the cogs turning in some people's brains of,
Yeah.
oh, who's actually my target now?
Hmm.
Because this is the last time you could vote without there being real repercussions on you.
Yep.
In terms of later on in the game, I shouldn't. You always will have repercussions for how you vote, but this one is a lot freer of a vote, and we'll learn later
Yep.
on why.
And
It
you
makes
see a lot
sense.
of people are, excited about that. A lot of people are like, okay, well, this is it. That's worth playing for in itself.
Exactly. Again, is like they were like truly. This is when like the nice gloves came off, and everyone
Yes.
again, they're on
Game
teams, but they're
faces.
still competing for each other or competing for themselves. So we all get up onto there. This is actually really funny because I'm just thinking of how this challenge was done in 49 and how awful everyone was at it except Savannah.
Mhm.
And every single person, including Suri, makes it through the first five minutes of it, and they're up there chilling. They go down to the next level. Everyone makes it down to the second level on the transition too. So
Oh no,
I don't,
Emily fell.
but she made it, and then like 5 seconds later.
Oh yes, 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 yes.
She
Sorry.
did
Yes,
make the
yes.
transition, but she fell not that long after that. But
Yeah,
still, the fact, like,
that's
people
true.
need to realize how much more competitive this season's going to be at an immunity challenge standpoint, because these people are insane. Rizzo, maybe not, but he wasn't there, so we didn't get to
That's
experience.
that is
Rizzo
such a good
still
point.
might be the
Honestly,
weakest link.
That's such a good point. I'm sad we didn't get to see Ozzy do this challenge because I low
Correct.
key think
He
he
would
would
have
have been.
cooked.
This is like a
Hmm.
classic Ozzy
Hmm.
challenge that he does well at. So,
Correct. So Emily drops not that long after the first
mm.
transfer. She's like holding her feet like she's in pain. I don't know if she like has some sort of issues with her feet at this point.
She's
And then literally
pigeon-toed.
correct 30 seconds later, Jeff is over here like, oh, like good thing your feet are all messed up from walking around barefoot on the beach for 12 days. And then Emily is literally like, well, I have pigeon toes. And then somehow bunions get brought up. And then Steph is just like, well, I have both. And I was like, all right, Steph, like this isn't the oppression Olympics. Like no one cares about how bad your feet are. Like, whatever. But yeah, is Emily's the first one to go down. Then we talk about feet. And then it starts to have a little bit more of a trickle effect. Devins goes down. I'm not really surprised at that one because homie does not look like he has the most upper body strength. And then, shocker to no one, hopefully, Jonathan goes down next because that
Yeah.
is a lot of weight to keep in the air on
Hmm.
very tiny ledges. And
Hmm.
then this is where it kind of got scary. Colby hits the deck hard.
Hard. Poor
Hard,
Colby.
everyone. Q, I believe this is where Pat does have the challenge gift
Our gift of the week.
because Kobe falls. He tries to not land directly on his foot. He definitely does. Immediately, like doubles back, rolls over in
Yeah.
pain. Emily's like, "Oh, you okay?" Jeff is like, "Donaldson, you good?" Like screaming at him, and you literally just see Kobe go, "Yeah, oh, okay."
Yeah. Poor
So
Colby.
yeah, is poor Kobe eats it. Then we get into the next transition.
Hmm.
This is where Sari finally pulls out, which I was like, the fact that this girl lasted this long for being her age,
Good.
go
I know. Good
Sari.
for you, Suri. Good
She
for you,
really,
girl.
really crushed it. And then at this point, we have like it's getting into more of like top three head-to-heads left within each group, and one of which was D versus Coach. And D is literally there, kind of not laughing, but like you could tell she wants to laugh when Jeff brings it up, how like it's her versus Coach, and Coach did so great at this challenge when he was in previous seasons, and then proceeds to be like, but he lost those. And D is like, yeah, and he's probably gonna lose this one too. So it's just really funny. They showed like the old highlight. They showed him losing to JT, and that was Game Changers, right? That's
No, that was
no.
that was honestly, I don't even know. That was pre-Heroes versus Villains and pre-South Pacific. I think his
Oh
first
God,
season.
yeah, that was the OG season then, right? Oh, I don't know why
His
I thought
first
JT
season.
was. Yeah, it was JT. I was thinking. Funny enough, I was thinking Nick, not JT. Everyone
Oh,
who's
okay.
watched 40, you know who I'm talking about. They look a lot alike. Anyway, so coach is like laughing to himself and then immediately proceeds to like fall because he was just like groaning in pain. So D wins individual immunity for herself. And then the other
She
um
also interesting tactic. She clearly didn't care about the reward.
right, I was literally just gonna say, so I still have the competition for reward, and
Hmm.
Jeff yells at D because she immediately takes her as soon as she finds out she wins immunity. I don't know if it was a she didn't care about the reward or she forgot it was a
Forgot.
reward
Yeah.
because she immediately takes her foot off, and Jeff is like, D, don't quit now, and then boom, she drops.
Yeah.
Doesn't care. I was like, you know what?
Honestly,
Good for D. Like,
I don't blame her either. I'd be
right?
like,
She's here to
I'm
win.
safe.
Right?
Whatever. I'm
She
good.
doesn't want her competitors to eat. She knows that she's fine without eating, so she doesn't want
Mhm.
other people to eat. So like whatever. Then we start having some drops from the other side. Tiff drops next. Aubrey low-key ate this up. I was
Yep.
kind of impressed. She
Me
dropped
too.
after Tiff. Joe survived an awful long time for his body weight too. And then G drops after Joe. So after that, that meant that Christian won individual immunity for his little group, but he was still going up against Camilla, Steph, and Chrissy.
Hmm.
So Christian had the odds stacked against him because those three were holding so strong.
Yes, I was
So
gonna say
strong.
they like, especially at one point, I'm like, has Chrissy moved?
No,
Like,
literally, Chrissy killed that.
I was
She
so impressed. I was
ate it
like, I
up.
don't think
And
she has
Steph.
moved. Oh yeah,
Honestly, it was like
like you
both of
said,
them were
those
really
three
impressive.
girls,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, no, I was very, very impressed. So then Christian tries to go up against the three of them, but he doesn't make it. So he drops. So I think they were orange, was
Yeah.
the group of Jonathan, Chrissy, Steph, Tiff, and Camilla win reward, and they still had three people up there.
Mhm.
So it was insane.
Jonathan is thrilled.
Jonathan
He's like,
literally goes,
my
"That's my
team
team."
won.
He's literally like, as soon as he dropped two, he was like, "Stay strong, ladies." Like he knew that they were going to win because he was like, they're
Please,
just
I want
all
to eat.
good. Right. And the man wanted a burger. You'll see how bad he wants that burger later. But Jonathan cheering his team on, Tiff cheering her ladies on, and Camilla steps down next. So it is literally some old timers going at it, and they were not budging for a little bit. However, Chrissy does. I think that she like intentionally dropped, and
I was
I think
wondering
that
that
this plays.
too.
I think it like plays to her advantage later on.
I think you're right. I was
I
watching
think
and I
it's
was just like,
solidified.
she looked so solid.
And I
So
do
solid.
think that we learned later on of why this was important.
Yeah.
But Chrissy drops and lets Steph win individual immunity. And yeah, that was the immunity challenge. So again, nothing really crazy. We kind of interjected our opinions the whole way out. So I
Yeah,
don't
we
think
did.
we
Sorry.
necessarily need to go too crazy in it. But yeah, I just think it was a glorified tribe swap. I don't think this is, again, it was the same thing as 49. The first two, right? Merge challenges were team challenges. Again, here we are.
Because you were not pleased.
Right. No, it's like it's so dumb. Don't have it be merge if it's not actually going to be every man for themselves, right? Is just kind of whatever. But the best part is that we're riding the wave of Tiff has been all over this episode. Guys, she's really rocking it out. And
Mm.
then we'll get into the reward next.
Okay, so after the immunity challenge, we get a little bit of Exile Island. Like kind of like we said before, there's not really too much that happens there. I personally thought it was really funny just to see the dynamic of Ozzy and Rizzo at Exile Island because those of you who've watched multiple seasons of Ozzy, you know, like he kind of thrives like this. Like he loves being outside in nature. He's very earthy, crunchy. He meditates. He does all that kind of stuff. So he's living his best life. And then you see Rizzo put up under a tree, pissed.
Pissed. City Kid is pissed.
He's not
iPad Kid is pissed. Like he is just not having a good day.
two opposite ends of the spectrum. But this is where we see those I keep moving the wrong way, but you can see my three up here really solidify that
hmm
alliance. So Ozzy
hmm
comes over, he shows Rizzo his idol. It's like,
Yep.
I think he does something stupid. It's like, have you seen one of these before? Like
Right, right.
so he tells Rizzo he has an idol. And then Rizzo is talking about, yeah, like, Suri told me that you and her were tight, blah, blah, blah. They talk about the extra vote, and Ozzy reiterates, no one knows about this. And
Right.
Rizzo's like, you got it. My lips are sealed. And then Rizzo tells him, hey, I also have an idol. And that is what Ozzy needed to hear to feel very good about this alliance.
Yeah.
He already knew about the idol from Suri, but he was like, hearing that made me trust Rizzo. And now the three of us are pretty solid. And like I said, after that, I was like, I'm about this. I'm about this alliance. I think
Crazy, right?
is going to be. I know I was anti Rizzo. I'm sorry, Kyla. Last week I freaked out on her.
Right here we are. Is somehow, some way, Rizzo again is he going to be as dangerous with an idol as he was in 49?
I
I don't think
know,
so because 49 was just dumb players compared to who he's playing against now. But
but
I think with
I don't know if
I think
he.
his allies are more dangerous this season than they were last. You know what I mean? Like Sophie and Savannah, albeit they made it to the top three, both of them. Like they weren't as heavy hitters as Suri and Ozzy both are.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. But
So
honestly, power move on. I think it's genius on Suri and Ozzy's part. Let's
correct.
bring
Well,
this
it's
little
also a
kid with
shield.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a shield of he's loud, he's obnoxious, he throws names around like nobody's business. Like
Mhm.
he is messy enough to protect us because they've already had the target on their backs for multiple votes. So
Since day one,
right,
Sela when
literally. Yep.
Jenna
Day
said
one.
Suri
Right.
and
And Emily
Emily
said
said
Ozzy.
Ozzy. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Day
So it's
one.
like it's genius of
Yeah.
take a shield that is also like not it's not that Rizzo's not well liked, but like again, he is loud and obnoxious enough that people would want him out before they would be like, oh, it's just an easier target. It's just an easier target, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting. But yeah, Exile Island, they really only gave us
Love
that
it.
one clip and that was it.
I I did think it was brutal. They didn't even tell them. Like, imagine being on Exile and not even knowing what's happening. I
Right?
was like, they
So
don't even know it's a triple elimination.
that is going to be probably the most exciting thing of
Hmm.
next week's episode is that first 10 minutes of Ozzy and Rizzo returning from exile and being
And
like,
learning what happened.
whoa.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, we get back to our winners. We get back to our reward. They're messing up some Applebee's, y'all. I mean, they are pigging out on Applebee's. They all basically got triple dipper appetizer platters, but not real triple dippers because it was different options. But every person got their own individual appetizer. They all clean those plates. Clean. They're already chugging their shark bowls. They're, cheersing, whatever. Chrissy then goes, we're not talking about game. We're not talking about game. So I was like, oh, so
Okay.
you see them kind of in peak form of like they're just having fun and drinking and eating. Then they get delivered their burgers and steak, and you see Jonathan. I mean, his one hand is like covering the burger. Like he's eating it with two hands, and like imagine like this is the burger. It's like all gone in his two hands. Yeah, so just absolutely macking on some Applebee's. They ditched talking about game, which is fine, whatever.
Yeah.
This isn't a reward that's drawn out the same way that Zach Brown Band was, so thankful for that. Really
Applebee's
appreciated
doesn't
that.
pay as much, I guess.
Applebee's clearly doesn't need as much marketing.
Yeah.
um, but then the funniest part, and I wrote it in my notes, was Jonathan clinking his two cups together.
Two shark balls to himself.
Literally,
Like,
he's just cheersing himself and like mid conversation too.
yeah.
Like there was no like, and not everyone was cheersing. It was literally like the girls were chatting and he was just like clinking his cups together. But anyway, so they go back. They're talking about how great their food was, and then we go into Scramble
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
the reward was literally that. They didn't talk about anything game wise, so
No.
we start moseying back on. They did talk about how awful it was to be on the other islands scrambling already without getting food.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
guys, you have to do this too. It's you're gonna have to do it on full bellies and in a food coma. So I don't know which is worse.
It was weird too, because I guess normally the people on the reward don't usually have to go to tribal, you
Right,
know?
right, and that's what was funny about it, right? Is I was like, guys,
Because,
I
yeah,
don't
I
know if
guess
you're
you're right.
focused. Like, you're going.
Yeah, because normally, yeah, they don't have to. So, yeah, I wonder if they were just like, just for the sake of it, we're not going to do this.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Correct. Like it was just so funny to me.
yeah.
So I guess depends on how you want to break it down. Which color should we pick for Scramble first?
It doesn't matter to me. I
Do
have
you want to
pink
go in?
first in my notes, but
Do you want to go in order of tribal though? Like how it?
oh, yeah, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do that.
So Kahlo blue, the blue team or the team that wins. Sorry, it was not Kahlo actually. They were orange. It was technically this fake New Sela tribe. That group of five of Jonathan, Chrissy, Steph, Camilla, and Tiff. They go. We go back to their beach, and now they do have to start talking game. It is
Hmm.
very interesting to see the relationships because you have four OG Kalos, excuse me, four because you have Jonathan, Tiff, Chrissy, and Camilla.
Camilla. Hmm.
So you have four OGs there. So you would think Steph obviously is the oddball out. Well, no, Steph won individual immunity. So Steph's like, I don't care, y'all.
He's sitting pretty
So it was very interesting because I remembered that Jonathan and Chrissy were tight day one.
with
And then,
Coach.
right, with Coach and
Hmm.
Mike White, because Jonathan
Yes.
only, this was my first loser move of the week. Jonathan only befriended the old players.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then Camilla, D, and Tiff were all tight on day one. So it was already two
The
to two.
girl. I loved that
So
girl alliance.
unfortunately, I knew that Steph was the swing vote. So it was very interesting. We have conversations taking place. Jonathan and Camilla are chatting. They're talking about how they're locked in and how they trust each other. All lies coming out of their mouths, both of them. This is where I got mad because Camilla owns the fact that she's a liar, and Jonathan literally says, "I'm not a liar." You're
Yes.
lying through your teeth, buddy boy, because you're going and talking to other people immediately. And
I
Camilla,
agree.
yeah, Camilla like apologized for the Charlie vote, knowing that
Hmm.
she blindsided him. knowing in the back of her mind that that might like have pissed him off. But again, they chat, whatever. Jonathan also talks to Tiff. Tiff is like, Jonathan, I trust you 100%. Again, Jonathan's like, yep, we're locked in. Like, it'll be easy. It'll just be us three, whatever. And then here comes Chrissy. Chrissy is
Chrissy played a
here
little
to
game.
play. She is
Mm-hmm.
here to play, y'all. Chrissy said, Jonathan, they're lying straight to your face. You're going to play with me. I'm going to get Steph. We're going to vote out Camilla because she's basically just how much of a liar
She's
she
a
is.
liar. Yeah.
And how well she plays this game, and how I think Chrissy said that she was like, when I watched her game, she basically talked about how she was the puppet master and she knew when to drive the bus, when to stop the bus, and when to start the bus up again, which I like laughed at that analogy because I'm just picturing little Camilla driving a big ass bus. But
Like, she was a mastermind. She's good at playing
right.
Survivor.
Yeah, Chrissy knew. And this is
Yeah.
where I do think Chrissy played the right game of giving Steph individual immunity, because big brained it. If Steph has individual, the easy vote was gone. You
Mm-hmm.
no longer have equal, like someone from your OG tribe has to go. So now Chrissy gets to work and she gets to pull well, Steph, I did you a favor and I gave you immunity. I could have
Yep.
kept going, right? That wasn't
I think
discussed
you're
though.
right. I
That
think that
wasn't, I wish that they showed it, because there have been challenges we've learned later on that are getting thrown,
yes, yes. I
which
didn't
way
even
that we'll
have
talk
that
about
as
later.
part of I didn't even have that as part of tea time, but we can add it in.
But like there's already been, so I'm very intrigued to see if there's going to be talk about Chrissy throwing this challenge, because if she did, it's a genius move. It's
Yeah.
truly is.
I mean, I
So,
know in past seasons that has 100% happened. Like,
right.
what season did fans versus favorites, I think, and in
Mm,
heroes versus villains, there's plenty of times where Parvati is like telling people, like,
right.
hey, if like, this is our plan, so
It
you
was
drop
it
or
was
whatever.
heroes versus villains, right? Because
Yeah.
it was on the poll.
Yes. Yes.
It
Very
was
similar
the
challenge.
yep. She
Her
was
and
like, I'll
Danielle.
drop.
Hmm.
Yep.
Hmm.
I
And
forgot who
so
won it
it's
from the
definitely
villains, but yeah.
yeah, definitely a strategy for sure.
Hmm. Exactly. So it was just funny because then, like, Jonathan's like trying to make it seem like he's doing really good at playing both sides. And like, I don't see it, but Tiff and Camilla are low key getting cooked. Like, Jonathan somehow is masterfully lying to them both,
Yeah.
while playing directly in the middle. So, and Steph literally comes in saying, she's like, these new age players, they'll lie straight to your face and they'll swear on their parents. And I was like, Steph, my
Oh
God,
no, goddamn, goddamn.
just so aggressive. So that scramble, I also think was like low key died down a little bit just because they were literally in food comatose.
Mhm.
So theirs was not nearly as lively as it could have been,
I will
because the
say,
fact that it was. Go ahead.
I will say, I was kind of like going into that one. I was like, this is gonna be boring. Chrissy is out, and then
Right.
when like you said, then they started doing all that talk about Camilla. I was like, oh, I didn't even think that this was an option.
Right. And like, it's so funny to me too, because Jonathan, I had bad feelings for Camilla because Jonathan didn't use Tiff. Tiff was the one that wanted Chrissy out. She said to Jonathan, we're going to make this easy. Chrissy's gone. It's you, me, Camilla. And then Chrissy says, I want Camilla. And Jonathan doesn't say anything about, oh, we should do Tiff because she threw your name out first.
Mhm.
So I was like, rut-row.
I think he's
So I do
mad.
give
I think
Jonathan
he
credit.
I do think he was
Correct. There is the
holding
grudge.
a
Yeah.
grudge about Charlie. I do
Yeah.
think he was. I think he was pissed about that.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
So,
So then we'll go over to another group here. So we go into the Christian, Aubrey, Genevieve, Rick, and Joe group.
mm,
This one also presented itself to be a little bit of an issue because you have the triad of Rick Devens, Christian,
my
and
nerds
Aubrey.
up here.
How do we rope Aubrey into this, you might ask? Well, if you don't remember, there is an idol in Aubrey's pocket that was gifted to her by Christian Hubicki. Instead, they say it's from Rick Devens, right? So the three of them are all in cahoots together because of this idol. Then Genevieve is like, I'm cooked. She
I
talks about
literally,
how,
I saw the five of them walk up because I don't know why in my head I didn't think about it when they were all sitting there, like when they initially drew rocks. But when
yep,
I saw them all walk up, I was like, well, see you, Genevieve.
right.
Like,
Yep. It's not, yeah, unless she won individual immunity, it was not good for her. So she immediately is like notices this, right? And is like, well, how are we going to make this work? So she obviously talks to Joe because that's the easiest one to go to. She's like, Joe, I know that Aubrey has an idol and Christian has immunity, so Devins is our only option. We have to go after Devins.
Mhm.
So that is literally her only leg to stand on in a group of five, right? There's only so many options to give when two people have advantages to keep them safe. And so this one isn't really that good of like the only thing that made matters worse or like fun was that Rick Devins is like the most paranoid freak I've ever seen.
This is when we get the spicy pickle, right?
Yeah, like he's like freaking out. He's like, well,
Yeah.
what if she has an idol too? What if she has an advantage that we don't know about? And I was like, but like you already like Rick, I don't know if the math isn't mathing, but like technically he doesn't know about the one, but I was like, you know about the two idols.
Hmm.
Like, come on now. It was weird to me that again, he was like freaking out for no reason. But this also could be like you're on day 12 of no food, no good water, like, so maybe he was just like not thinking clearly. But it was interesting because Genevieve said that she wanted Christian to be the swing vote, and I was like, unfortunately, no.
Yeah, that
I'm
was
more
her
surprised.
downfall. That was her
I'm more
downfall.
surprised that Genevieve, knowing that they're boomerang idols, didn't try to blindside Aubrey.
Well, didn't she know that Devins gave it to her?
Right, is she knows that that one of them gave, but like still just to try to blindside Aubrey to like make her
Oh,
think that
oh,
she's
oh,
not
oh.
going. You know what I mean? Like I do think that there were some other ways that she could have played it,
Yeah.
or to
I
like
have
try to
I
like
have tea
split.
time on that too. So,
Yeah, or try to like split a vote. Like again, just like different ways to get creative. I like appreciated her like she knew that only angle she had was to work with Joe to try to find some crack. But
yeah.
again, that was really it wasn't that good of a scramble because again, we're only in groups of five, so it was just really difficult.
The only other thing that I did notice in that, and I hope that the group noticed, Christian has his khakis back, everyone.
Mm, they have been rinsed out in the ocean. Yep.
I'm assuming they gave
Do
him
they
a new
look
pair.
darker in some spots? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but he was wearing the
No,
khakis,
I
so
do,
either
right?
he got new ones or
Wasn't it so right,
they're
Sophie
finally
B?
clean.
Sophie B said
Yeah,
that they
she
give
said he
them like
probably got new
fresh
ones.
clothes that they like tatter and tear or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay, so then that brings us to our final group in
mhm.
Scramble. So it is again Sari, Coach, Colby, D, and Emily. D is the one sitting with individual immunity. So you do have two original Sela with Sari and Emily together. However, they did not work together. And then you have two original Kahlo of D and Coach. However, this one got a little spicy because D is so great. I love
I
watching her
love
play.
D.
And then you have Colby, who's just an odd man out, a sitting duck. Reminder, everyone, he has no vote.
I
And since
forgot
he
about
has
that.
no vote, he has no shot in the dark. So
Yeah,
Colby is quite literally, they described him
sitting
as a
duck.
sitting duck, which is how I would have described him as. Um, and Coach literally says that and goes, Colby's like a sitting duck. She sucks. And pitches Emily to D. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Out of left field, but clearly Coach wants Colby around. He wants an old style player around. So Coach and D start chatting. And Coach is like, Colby's a sitting duck. They talk about his foot, and then Coach goes, "Yeah, like Emily said that she wanted it to go you, then Chrissy, or you, then Tiff, then Chrissy." I was like, "Whoa, like
Pulled it out of
what?"
nowhere.
Right, pulls out of nowhere, right? And D goes, "Okay, yeah, when did she tell you that?" And Coach goes, "Oh, last night." And D immediately goes, "Why didn't you tell me then?" I said, "What?"
He
Like,
knew
wow.
too. He put
And
his foot in his mouth.
right here comes Coach in a confessional of D, because she's a great player, gives the respect where it's due,
Yeah, he
immediately
did. He
clocks
did.
my stuff, and he's like, and I'm just sitting here, proceeds to shove a sandy foot by his mouth. So I'm glad Coach at least was self-recognizing that he screwed up royally.
Mhm.
However, D doesn't use it as much of a leverage as possible. She does get pissed and she's like, Coach is annoying. Goes
Yeah,
to Sari and is like, Sari, man, what are we gonna do about like Coach? He's really pissing me off. Like, I want him. He's annoying. Like, Colby's gonna get
but
medevaced.
Sari. you can see she knows what's happening here.
She's running the show. So with that, Cerie's like, well, let's kind of talk to Colby and see how he's doing about this whole medevac situation. So we do learn more about Colby's foot. And now Colby's saying, oh, I don't think I just hyperextended my foot. I do fear that I have some sort of stress fracture or torn ligament. Crazy that he's still on this beach.
Yeah, which is not
Um, uh,
good.
Not good. So man is literally sitting here injured, no vote, no shot in the dark, and the only person from his original tribe. Talk about shit luck, man.
I
Like
know.
he drew the worst stone.
Him and Genevieve, they
Yeah,
really
they
did.
drew some bad stones. So, that is really their biggest scramble.
I
Because
did
no, go ahead. Yeah,
I was gonna say the only other thing about that I thought was funny was like you said, Dee and Emily start to be like, "Ah, Coach is annoying. Should we just like get rid of him?"
literally. Yep.
And Sari, being
Yes.
the queen that she is like, now you're right, he's annoying, but Coach is gonna blow himself up later. Colby runs this shit. We need to get him out. And they were all like, okay.
So what did she called it the head of the snake, right? Right. You get rid of the head of the snake first, and
Yeah, she
basically
said
saying,
Coach
right,
is the
that
tail.
yep, and coaches the tail, basically calling him an ass. And I was like, Suri, I love you again.
Again.
So it's just really
Queen.
interesting because right is now basically here's D being like, which old ass man am I kicking out of this game?
Yes.
Because that was really D was like Suri gave her input, Emily gave her input, but like the best part was D sitting there being like, I'm wearing this necklace, so you're going to she's like, you're gonna sit, you're gonna shake, and you're gonna roll over because you're my puppies tonight. And I was like, I love her. I love
She's
her.
so funny.
It was
She's she
hilarious.
and Sari just have the same energy. Like
They
Bree
really
said,
do.
I get
Yeah.
it. Both of them when they talk, I'm like, I would sit on the beach and work with you.
Exactly. So it was just really funny that Dee was like, "Yeah, no, I'm picking who's going. Like you two are gonna vote with me, but this is my." And Sari gives her 2 cents. Emily was down for whoever because she didn't care.
Mhm.
Because that's who Emily is. She's never gonna drive a vote, but she'll hop into whatever services her. Right? Makes sense.
Which
So
sometimes works. So
that's sometimes that's how you got to play it, right? Is you're in no
yeah.
power position, you got to do it. But those were scrambles. So again, three
Mhm.
people going home, 5-person scrambles. We get into tribal, and I will pass it over to you, Megan, for how our tribals are going to go down.
All right. So tribal council. So the first one we get into is our orange tribe, right? That we talked
Hmm.
about. Yeah.
Hmm.
So they all walk in, they have this huge setup and they have all these lights and everything, I guess, for the blood moon. They like did it all up.
Yeah,
Um
they gave it the red vibe. It was pretty dope. I will give them that.
yeah, they so they're pretty excited about that. Tiff, who apparently is a big gamer, super excited about it. She's like, this is like my
So
video games.
fun fact, everyone. I don't know if you know what video game she was talking about. I
I,
do believe, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, she's talking about Breath of the Wild. I will need to confirm with the
mm,
third Calabrese child, Matt. He has played this game before, but I do believe that that was what Tiff was talking about. I had no idea that Tiff was that kind of a gamer. I was
yeah,
laughing
that was
so
funny.
hard when she
Me
said
too.
that.
I was very surprised. But yeah, so the only thing that was kind of interesting when they were kind of talking about what was happening is Jonathan made it very clear, like a line in the sand is going to be drawn. He kind of kept
Mhm.
harping on that. And then Tiff came back and almost threatened him and
Yep.
was like, I just want people to know whichever way you vote, you have people to answer to when you get back in the merge, which is a very fair point.
It
Like
was
it's
such a good point. She said this vote tonight will have ripple effects.
the ripple effects. Yes, yes.
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
very, very true. Everything she said. So, like I
Yeah.
said, I don't know if she was kind of feeling that Jonathan was gonna flip
She
anyway.
definitely had more of a note, right? Once he said that lines were going to be drawn in the sand, she
Yeah.
immediately clocked, like, oh, he's considering getting rid of one of us. So
Hmm.
I don't know if she was more in fear of herself because she threw, I think that was what
Maybe.
it was because Chrissy, she threw Chrissy's name out. You know what I mean? So I do think
Yeah.
Tiff was like in fear that, like, oh, shoot, I jumped the gun and it might be me now. So,
Yep.
like, I think it could have been out of a self-defense.
So yeah, so that wasn't only the really the main thing that they're talking about. And
Yeah.
then we get to the vote. No idols or anything, and our poor girl Camilla. goes home. Jonathan
Crazy.
flipped, and she's pissed. Pissed. Drag that
Drag
man
that
through
man.
the mud. She's livid. Again, I have tea. Camilla has been given gold for tea time, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Tea time.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot to go over, but she's pissed. Tiff is also pissed.
Yep.
You can
She
tell.
lit immediately. Yep.
I can't wait for the beginning of next episode to see Tiff ream Jonathan for that.
Oh, I'm so excited. So
I
excited,
can't wait.
actually.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
so
basically
easy.
just solidified. Again, I made this nice little alliance thing here, guys. You can see I had a nice line of Jonathan with the girlies. That is severed. I don't see, because I'm assuming Tiff is going to go talk to Dee, and Dee's going to be pissed because Dee also wanted to work with Camilla. So,
Yep.
yeah.
I
So that's
just again, Jonathan over here. Oh, I want to make sure that it's a slim shot, but a shot I have to take of working with them, and then he completely just destroyed it.
yeah. Yeah. So, all right. I'm checking one thing. Oh, never mind. So next we get into the pink group,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Our pink group here. So this one, again, the only thing that's really said here is basically Genevieve is like, I'm Jeff. I'm out.
Yeah. She literally hit him with the Jeff. I forgot what she said. Something about how her. Oh no, that was later on, but after the votes. But yeah, she really was just kind of like, there. Sometimes it's really luck of the draw, luck of the stones. When I saw the color stones, I knew that it was kind of I was up against it. And he was like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "Jeff, you couldn't see that either, buddy. Like, come on."
Yeah, you knew that. Yeah, so
Just insane.
I did write down that she is extremely well spoken, and I'm sure she is a fantastic lawyer.
Yeah, no, I can see how she's a lawyer for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
she's very well spoken. She gives a very eloquent speech that I won't even try and say, but basically what Mikey and I said that says she knows she's going home and she's gonna pull every trick she can.
Yep.
So we go to vote. She pulls out something, and I was confused at first because I was like, she doesn't have anything. She plays her shot in the dark. I was really hoping it pulled out. I was like, this would be
It would have been so cool. It would have been so cool just to like have something finally at a vote, like some kind of advantage being played at a vote would have been so fun.
So she plays her shot in the dark, 1 in 6 chance. She is not safe, and every single person on that tribe voted for Genevieve, even Joe.
Even Joe, because he is, as much as he wants to say, I play with honor and integrity. Joe's a coward, everyone. This is my like hottest take of the week. He's literally the biggest coward and never wants to be like he's a little follower. He doesn't want to not be a part of a vote, and he gets pissed off when he's left out of a vote. Like, no, sir, grow a backbone. You said you wanted to work with Genevieve, vote for someone else. Like, it's just so stupid to me. Like, I like have some morals if that's what you care about. Stick to it.
If that's what you preach, you know?
Right, exactly. If that's what you're preaching, that how you play, you clearly don't because you threw Genevieve right under that bus.
Yep. So poor Genevieve goes home. I honestly, at this point, I'm sad. These are my two strategic girlies get kicked out. I was sad. I like Camilla and Genevieve both a lot.
It was right. It was not a good night for the girls up to this point.
Yeah. I will say, I know you need to watch 47 because 47 Genevieve is so strategic and does all this stuff. I thought she was going to come out of it alive. I was like, she'll come up with something. She's so good at this. Like, she'll have something, but sometimes there's only so much you can do.
I do think she played a very poor game too, unfortunately. Like her and Charlie, like same vibe. They did not play well at all.
Oh, I disagree. I think she was doing good. I think she just got by the survivor gods. She found two idols.
True. She did get the same Q. She did. It was similar to more of a Q exit than it was Charlie exit. Like she truly did get screwed by the swap. That's fair.
Like she literally lost her number one ally the first week because she made a huge alliance with Kyle. He got hurt.
Right.
She found two idols, which in any other season she'd have two idols, and then she got put onto a team with everyone against her. I just feel she was very unlucky. Very unlucky.
Yeah.
So she goes home. Then she gives her jacket to Aubrey.
Yeah.
Interesting.
She goes, would she say it's a terrific coat or something like that? It's a beautiful coat. Like treasure it. I was like, oh. And then Joe's like, that's class. You want to know what's not classy, Joe? Voting for Genevieve. That's what's not classy, right?
Yeah, so I was sad, but that's okay. That, like I said,
Yep.
the Jack and I didn't understand. Again,
No,
we
it was
could
weird.
get
It was
into
weird.
that in tea time too. So now we get to our last one, our blue tribe here. And this one, this one was also very wholesome, to be honest. The way they set this one up,
Yes.
it was cute because we had Colby, Coach, and Suri, very old school
OGs.
players. Like, oh
Very
yeah,
OG.
oh geez. I mean,
Right.
Colby
When you
too.
think of Survivor, right, you think of these three, right?
And then Dee and Emily, who
Yep.
very new. And Jeff like asked how old Dee was when Colby first started playing, and she said she was 3.
So
Crazy,
like,
crazy.
right, how I was over here saying like, oh wow, it's amazing that Rizzo was 8 when Coach first played. Yeah, they one-upped it with this one. I was like, oh my God.
hmm And yeah, so there's just a lot of they're going back and forth, a lot of
Very memory lane filled, yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of props given to, Suri and Colby. I think a lot. Coach, it's almost like Suri and Colby are like, we love
Trying to
you,
have a moment,
great
right.
job having a moment. And Coach is like, I'm also here.
Yep. And they were just like, yep, okay, Ben, sit down. Like get out. Yep.
Yeah.
They were truly
I
trying to have a moment and they would just be like, oh yeah, Coach is here too.
I cried. I cried. I mean, I was like, it's more like very, I don't know. It was very wholesome, very sweet.
Mm,
And then you can see Dee, like we kind of alluded to, Dee's unsure of who to vote for, and she's now upset, and she's talks about how she doesn't want to impact someone negatively by voting for them. Like it is a game.
correct. Right.
They're
D
kids.
is starting to feel sad, which did make me think I was like, oh, I know how she's voting now because I don't think she would have cried if she voted the other way.
I agree. I agree. I when she started crying, I was like, damn.
And I was like, I fear this is going in a different direction.
hmm So we
But yeah,
get so yeah, then Colby doesn't get to vote, and everyone votes for Colby, and he is sent home. So poor Colby. But and they made it very clear, I think he's not coming back again. Like Jeff even said, like one
yeah,
last time.
one more time. Yeah, yep.
So it was very clear this was kind of his last thing. He's very sweet. He tells everyone to like remember to find the joy in playing the game that they all love.
Oh
It
yeah,
was wholesome. Everything probably Survivor 50 wanted to have.
correct,
And
correct.
for those of you who have been paying attention, you now realize that we have someone in the tribe who lost all 3 members.
If
And
you did not text Brianna Finlayson and wish her well, you better.
I think that she had some words too for us. So
100% had her moment this week, everyone. She had her moment.
You okay?
I'm not. Here.
You know what? I can get loud too. What the f? I can get loud too. I don't want to. Oh, you know why I'm crying? It's probably the nicotine withdrawal.
I crack open a coconut and they didn't cheer for me.
I came and apologized to you. You never
Over
apologized
and
to
over
Brenda.
again. You are
That's what
one
I
pathetic
thought.
individual.
You're pathetic. You're a
You
little...
are pathetic.
Hey, shut your mouth.
You
Shut
can't
your
shut
mouth.
my mouth.
I'm tired of you talking. You've been talking.
Don't walk this
I'm
way.
mad at myself. I'm mad at him. If this is what you wanted, if you wanted to end my story so soon, you shouldn't have put me on Survivor in the first place.
All right, we just finished the episode. Bree has. Where were you before? Just for posterity, where were you before in the standings?
I was in first place 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. I was in second place 2 weeks ago.
And going into this week,
I was in fourth place.
and where are you headed now?
The deepest, darkest depths of the hell of a life where I went from having a winning team to no team.
So yeah, Bree's going to Exile Islands. They're gonna join Ozzy and Rizzo. What are your thoughts? Give me more.
Well, I will summarize by saying before the triple elimination happened, I said to Pat, all of my people are up on the chopping block. So if I can somehow make it through, I will give myself a special superlative for that. But on the contrary, I have quite a different road forged ahead. So just wait till you get to the superlative part because I've got stuff to say. You know that gif of SpongeBob
Yep.
That,
I'm familiar.
yeah, I know. I kind of am envisioning something along the lines of a team would be nice if I had one. Well, I think it's safe to say you get to use your Crash Out compilation that you put together, and my Survivor life this season is over.
All right, everyone. So now we're getting into Mikey's move of the week. Before we get into it, we do have the, again, third Calabrese family member did confirm for us that the video game that includes the Blood Moon, where your enemies rise up from the dead to come back and kill you, is Breath of the Wild. So, confirmed, Tiff is a Zelda fan. Anywho, so my moves of the week. We're pretty simple this week. Again, we're in the merge, so now I'm kind of like, I'm getting very specific on who's making winning moves and where. So truly, to me, the biggest winning move of the week was Ozzy. Again, Megan will get into more of the new alliance, if you want to call them that breakdown. But I really liked Ozzy's move of the fact that he brought Rizzo to Exile Island. I thought that was very strategic of him, and it really helped him solidify his like true number ones, but also consulted Christian and Emily enough to make them seem like they're still working together, but he knows that Suri and Rizzo are his true, like, who he's going to opt in with. So I give Ozzy a lot of credit on that. Obviously, I'll give Tiff her shout out that she's finally coming back and edited into the season. So I'm very, very happy. That's more of a W for me than it is for Tiff, because again, I'm her biggest fan. And then oh my God, and the bow. Guys, if you didn't, again, more of a plug to 46. But if you need to watch it, Kenzie, who was on her original tribe with Tiff, is the OG bow buff wearer.
Yes.
So Tiff does
Kenzie.
pay a little bit of homage to Kenzie this week with her bow buff. And it just looks so cute. Literally amazing. So again, just dubs all around from me because we love Tiff. And then my last one is Chrissy. As much as it pains me to see one of my tribe members go with Camilla, Chrissy played such a good episode. It was insane. Like, the woman just knew how to bounce back. I immediately was like, yep, she's gone, she's out. And boy, was I wrong. So shout out the three of them. It was very, very impressive of weeks for them. The two that I was least impressed by this week, Jonathan, you guys heard it from me before. I hated the way he played this week. Big liar. Like, not, it doesn't, says that he plays with honor and integrity and he's not a liar. That's all he did this week was lie, directly to his quote unquote alliances in his former tribe. He is now putting himself in a terrible position because he's going to have to play like Savannah in 49. He's literally going to have to win out in immunity challenges because he's already a big threat in an individual immunity game. So like every time he doesn't have individual immunity, he now has, if you look at this chart above or behind Megan, he has 9 people against him. Not, well, yeah, no, 9, because none of them got voted out. Yeah, 9.
No, this is after elimination. Yeah.
Homie's cooked. Like, it was not smart at all the way that he played that out. So just not good. And then obviously, not to her fault, it was just the inherited loser trait of the week, Genevieve. Girl, I'm sorry. You should have picked a better rock. I don't know. You know. So those, again, it's not necessarily she had made loser moves other than the fact that it was just a loss in itself, or an inherited loss. And then for me, biggest loser of the week other than Bry. Sorry, Bry. Sorry, girl. was production. I do think that there was a large fumble in how this episode played out. I believe that we should have had it be a 17 every person for themselves death match to start because it would have been so fun just to see something like that of that big of a merge. And you basically gave us a glorified tribe swap. So don't tease us like that again. That was really rude. And then biggest winner of the week, unfortunately, it's UConn sporting fans and Pat. It's really sad. I have to say it. It's like really annoying me. They had a great week. Well, except the women didn't have the best weekend, but you know, whatever, to each their own. And then Pat was just making me laugh in the middle of an airplane last night because he was texting me talking shit about Brad Underwood, the head coach of the Illinois basketball team. And it was just really funny. The person to my left definitely thought I was psychotic because I was just sitting there on a plane laughing to myself. Yeah. Those are my biggest winners and losers, and that is my move of the week.
Nice. Thank you, Mikey.
Hell
All
yeah.
right. And now we are going to get into Tea Time with Megan.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. Now, you guys, I've been so excited about tea time this week because the tea, I say this every week, but everyone
this
keeps
week
coming
is
back.
hot.
This week was hot. Hot.
Hot.
So, first, let's start out with the tea that's like probably the least spicy, but still
Correct.
very important to talk about.
Mhm.
So, learned a lot about Colby's foot.
Yeah.
So, yes. So, like Mikey said earlier, we didn't really hear that much about it. Kind of heard like he potentially strained it, stress fracture, and it looked bad. Well,
Right.
Colby was interviewed by Mike Bloom, I think. Mike Bloom does a lot of
Yeah, the post. Yep.
So he was interviewed and said that he did strain his foot when he was pushing the boat like that. But he said OG survivor strategy is to walk around barefoot the first 10 days because you strengthen up your feet. And he said the only other person that was doing it was Ozzy. And he knew, he was like, he's doing it for the same reason. You got to get calluses and everything strengthened.
Yeah, make sure, right, for those types of challenges that they went into, right.
And when he did that, he stepped on something and punctured his foot and it got infected. And that is really what did him in. He said, like, basically, the strain he could have worked with, but the infection was getting so bad that, like, I forgot who it was, if it was Dee or Chrissy, but he like had them check it out for him, and they were like, it's burning up, it is hot, like you're infected. And then he went to medical, and medical was like, you need to leave, like it's infected, you need to leave. And he was like, can you please, like, I'm probably going to get voted out tonight. He basically, what he said is, after every single challenge, medical is there and you have the option to go see them. So like,
makes sense.
Yeah. And so people knew he had been going because he like had strained his foot anyway, but they told him, you have to go. And he was like, listen, I'm probably going tonight anyway. Can you just see if they vote me out? And if they do, fine. And if they don't, then I'll go. Like, that's fine. But can you just see if I can go out like this? And they were like, okay, that's fair. We'll allow you to stay, you know, this whatever extra 6 hours. But then he did have to go immediately leave and I think he had to have surgery to clean it out.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I'm sorry, Colby, but good thing that you did get voted out, I guess. But
because you were going to get medevaced.
Sad for our strategic girls, because Dee was right. They could have voted out Coach and gotten Colby out at the same time, but that's okay. So next we have some tea about Genevieve and Aubrey. Genevieve had a lot to say. She had a lot to say.
Genevieve has been. Also, her hair is so grown out.
Yeah, yes.
Have you noticed that? Like, she was literally like rocking this cute little shoulder length, like barely shoulder length in the season. And now, like, all of her interviews, it's like fully down to the middle of her back. I'm like, okay, girl, come on, inches.
So Genevieve told everyone more about her and Aubrey. And she said the conversation that they showed to solidify, you know, like they always show something to be like, oh, this is why they are working against each other. She said that was the most pleasant conversation the two of them had.
Like the original one on the beach? Their like first day conversation. Woof.
That was the most pleasant one they had. And she said, kind of like, I'll take it as a compliment, I guess, because I'm assuming it's because you think I'm dangerous and strategic. But she
Yeah.
basically said Aubrey made her extremely uncomfortable the entire time and like clearly didn't like her. She did say, she was like, listen, take this with a grain of salt. Everyone has, like you're hungry, you're not sleeping.
Yeah.
There's all of this, everything is heightened, but she basically said that from day one, it was very clear that they could not work together. And and because a lot of people, they were kind of talking about the Rock situation, like, oh, like,
Right.
is that fair? Or, people can argue a really good Survivor player can make it out of that,
Exactly. Yep.
which is true. And she was like, you're right, that's part of the game, but there is certain times when you just can't work with someone, and that's kind of what happened with Aubrey. So she and then she said she probably will never come back and play Survivor again.
Really? Oh, that's so. I was thinking she would try to do like a redemption season for this because she got ousted so early and like had so many like scoring for league-wise scoring plays, right? Like you would think that she would like try to come back for redemption because she's like an aggressive and strategic player all in one. That's sad.
Yeah, she said the only way she would come back is if they ever did another Blood versus Water because her husband wants to play. Has mentioned saying he would, and so she said she would potentially do that if they ever do that again. I don't know. I haven't watched that season, but I know that I think
You should watch it. I know Jeremy and Val.
Oh, okay.
Jeremy and Val Collins.
Shout out Bryant.
Shout out Bryant. Jeremy and Val Collins. You should absolutely watch that season.
Good to know. So yeah, that's the only way she'll come back. So that's sad because, like I said, I love Genevieve. I think she was great. So. Mikey's not as big of a fan because he didn't watch her in 47. Don't worry, everyone.
It's fair. If you're going based off of this season, I don't think she played that well. I'm sorry. It's just, it wasn't good.
That's fair. 47 is good. All right. And now our final one, the real tea, my girl, Camilla. We need to avenge poor Camilla.
I know.
So,
like literally, guys, I only had her on my team for 2 weeks.
I know. And
didn't even get a chance.
Awesome. I love Camilla.
She is living up to the ST Diva's name, though.
She's being a diva.
There is a lot of diva in her, let me tell you.
Yes. So, Camilla, now we have to give some background on this. I had saw some TikTok creator talk about some pregame alliances and talk about the honor and integrity alliance, which, like I have down here, these are the people who are left down at the bottom, right? So we have Jonathan, Steph, Coach, Joe, and Chrissy. Oh, now my thing is messed up.
Colby was in this originally, correct?
Colby was also in this. And that's it. That was it.
That was it. Yeah.
So I saw a TikToker talk about this, and I was like, is that really a thing? Like, do they? I need to fix this. Sorry, everyone. So I was kind of like confused. I was like, is this really a thing? And then there were some things that I saw at the beginning that I was like, I could see this because immediately, like, Jonathan, right? I think Mikey called it out on your move of the week. You were like, why the fuck is Jonathan working with Coach and Chrissy?
Right. And like immediately went to them. Immediately.
Yes. And again, like I said, it's one of those things, pregame alliances are going to happen. Like, like,
no, you'd be nice.
Serene and Ozzy didn't talk to each other beforehand. I'm sure they did. Like, I'm sure they're friends. Like, they played multiple seasons together. So I get
talks
that.
about it in his little like going out speech, talking about how the connections he made through Survivor, all these things. Like, these are people that would be in my life forever. So it's like hard to think that like other Survivor players don't talk. You know what I mean? Naturally, don't talk to other Survivor players.
So. This alliance seems pretty clear. Like I said, they always seem to find each other. Joe even mentions he's excited to finally see Coach and everything. So there's just a lot of like, they know they're going to work together. Well, going back all the way back to episode 1 on the journey, remember it was Savannah, Colby, and Mike White. So Savannah apparently went full-blown reporter and grilled Colby. Grilled him, asking him all these questions, who he was working with, and Colby just owned up to it. He was like, I have a pregame alliance called the Zoom Alliance, and it's with all of these old school people, and he listed them all out. I'm surprised. I was like, wow, okay. Apparently he did
Wasn't
not.
Mike White still there at that time too?
Yes, that's how Camilla found out because Mike White was there and Mike White came running back and was like, guys, this is what happened. And Camilla just got mad because she was like, well, that's annoying that they're doing that. Whatever. Survivor's supposed to be about the relationships that you build. It should be fine. And then we see that Jonathan did stick with that pregame alliance instead of with her, and that's why she said drag him through the mud, and she was pissed. She was not happy. So I do think though, like Mikey was saying, I just don't think that that worked out well for him because
Not numbers wise.
no, because I can really see the girlies and the nerds working together to just start ousting all of the honor and integrity people.
Especially because, again, Jonathan thought he was doing a good job making friends outside of this honor and integrity, and then he literally kicked them out. Versus Ozzy and Sari, the web that they have woven is way better of cross alliance work.
For sure. So yeah, that was our tea on poor Camilla. Like I said, she wasted no time. She also said, which was surprising to me, she was just basically talking about like how the edit gets rid of so much and like there's so many things that like no one knows about. And apparently at that tribal, she didn't have her shot in the dark. Steph had it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because she wanted Steph and them to like, she said something about like her and Steph swapped as like a mode of trust, and then they still voted her out. And so she's like,
that's even crazier. Why she's even more upset. Yep.
So she was just like, there's so many things that happen that like you don't even see, like kind of crazy. So poor Camilla. But that's our tea of the week. Like I said, we had a lot because of all the people that had to get voted out. So
cheers to that, friends.
Cheers. And now I think that we'll hand it over to Pat. Pat will have a small comeback here, and he's going to go over all of our scoring plays of the week and our league standings.
Thanks for having us as your host this week, everyone. We hope to do it again soon.
Cheers.
Okay, I'm back. That went well, right? Everyone take a breath. They did a great job. Wherever you are, home, office, in your car. Well, not in your car. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. But, think about applauding in your car. They did a great job. Hopefully. And so now it's my task to go through the more boring league matters. So I'm going to rip through this for you real quick. So first, for your scoring plays of the week. Right, there was a lot of scoring this week, contrary to the previous week where there was almost no scoring whatsoever. The majority voting is going to go to basically everyone but the people that got voted out. So it's going to go to Jonathan, Chrissy, and Steph. It is going to Christian, Aubrey, Joe, and I believe Rick. And it's also going to Sari, Coach, Dee, and Emily. So pretty much everyone gets points for that. I should point out every single person got points for making the merge. Every single person got points for making the merge. Rizzo and Ozzy got nothing for voting because they were on Exile Island. This is all over the place. I apologize, but so is this episode. So the jury points will go to everyone except the people who were eliminated because Jeff specifically announced that after last night, everyone is now on the jury. So those are points we're going to assign now instead of next week. Individual immunity will go to Dee, Christian, and Stephanie because they won immunity. Stephanie will also get points for winning a trip to the sanctuary. On that note, her group that she was with, which was, let's see here, it was... I'm not even going to edit this out. I'm going to keep this in for posterity. I really blew it. Jonathan, Chrissy, Camilla, and Rick are also going to get points for being picked to be taken to the sanctuary. I know that's not technically what happened, but they were in the group that got to go, but they didn't earn it themselves. So basically what I'm saying is they get half the points for the reward because they got it, but they didn't earn it. Stephanie gets full credit for that. And I believe that's it. So let's move on to your season standings. Okay, your season standings. A little bit different this week. As I said, we're traveling, but we're still going to go bottom up. So in your pre-merge boots, which is what we refer to as the bottom of the league, Nora still holding it down on the bottom. Christina in 27th. Mikey in 26th. Sharon in 25th. Kayla in 24th. Brian is in 23rd. Heidi, my mom, is in 22nd. Drew is in 21st. This one hurts. I'm in 20th. Bree's in 19th. As I'm sure our lovely guest contributors pointed out, this episode was terrible for us. It was no good. Bree lost all of her people in one foul swoop. It was brutal. I lost all but one, but couldn't be upset because Bree was sitting next to me with no one on her tribe. So just horrible vibes all around. Mokeki is in 18th. Ryan Shiring is in 17th. Emily in 16th. And Pat Shiring in 15th. So those are your pre-merge boots. Your jury, which I am, of course, not on. Clearly not bitter about that at all. Kyla is in 14th. Tristan is in 13th. Tristan also, not a good week for Tristan. Not a good week for most people, except for Megan, who was not in dead last, but in like second to last. Megan is back from the dead in 12th. Wow, way to go, Megan. That's better than she's ever done, even when we only had 16 people. Not a passive-aggressive comment or anything. Smith is in 11th. Scott in 10th. Scott fell from first, so not a great week for Scott either. Alex is in 9th. Loom is in 8th. Brenna in 7th. Matt is in 6th. The best of the three Calabrese siblings on the board. V is in 5th, holding strong there at the top. She actually beats Matt on the tiebreaker of consistency. Jazz is in 4th. Jazz came out of nowhere. Jazz was at the bottom. And then great week for the Ham household, hamming it up at the top. In your final tribal at the moment, Anne is in 3rd with the Hammist tribe. Kelsey is in 2nd. Kelsey, shout out Kelsey. I don't think she's watching this, but I do know for a fact she is watching this season, which I'm happy about, because Kelsey is a great person, and I don't know. I don't know where this riff is going. I'm trying to build some goodwill, because unfortunately for everyone, Greg is in first. Damn. It's a good thing I'm doing this part alone, because I feel like Greg is being spared. I'm so depressed about this that I don't have any jokes here. My co-hosts were here, they'd be taking shots at him, but we had a bad week. So that's your league standings. So now for your weekly awards. The weekly awards, which I know you can't actually see on my screen still. Again, no slideshow this week, my apologies. But the Have the Numbers Award. Have the Numbers is going to go to Megan, Matt, and Kelsey. Huge scoring week. Megan had Stephanie and Christian both scored individual immunity plus rewards and voting and all of this stuff. We really ragged on Megan last week and a lot off camera for her Stephanie pick. And really it's because I was jealous because I was between Stephanie and Camilla. That clearly was a great strategy because also no one else has Stephanie. So Megan, great week with 38 points. It's worth noting as we move to the bottom of the tribe. That this bottom of the tribe, the episode scores, would have been the best of last episode. So once we get to this individual portion, everything gets shaken up. Scott with 10 points, Tristan with 8 points, and Bree with 6.5 points. I think that's your leaderboard from last week, which is crazy. All bottom of the tribe, all down to one person or no people, which brings us to the most consistent. The most consistent this season so far has been Loomis. I've talked a little bit about how this is calculated. I'm not going to talk a lot about it here, but basically it is a standardized look at how much your score week to week as a tribe varies, It's nothing to do with your rank. So overall, Loomis's squad has been the most consistent. Likewise, so that's good or bad, because you could be a bad squad and be consistent, which brings us to the least consistent award. Megan had been a bad squad, now she's great, and as a result of those monster 38 points, she is now the least consistent because she was doing bad and now she's had an insanely good week. So this isn't really a bad award to get for Megan. This is exactly where she needs to be. Now, on the Megan train, let's go to a That's How You Do It on Survivor.
Hey, oh, let's go. Hey, oh, let's go. Hey.
That's how you do it on Survivor, Megan. You climbed 15 spots this week. That's amazing. It doesn't say a lot about how you started this game, that you climbed 15 spots and you're still sitting in 12th. But you're a hell of a lot higher than I am, so who am I to take shots, you know? Unfortunately, we have to go now to taking your flint. Bree, I'm taking your flint. It probably would have been me, because I think I dropped like 13 spots, but Bree dropped 14, so she gets it. Now, I should note that Bree, now on what we refer to as Exile Island, an island inhabited only by 4 people previously in our 2 other seasons, is reserved for people in the league that have no people left on their tribe. Now, as such, it does not seem fair to consistently then give her negative awards, because obviously, moving forward, she can't score any points each episode. She's going to be insanely not consistent because she was doing good and now she's putting up zeros into the data. She's obviously going to continue to drop. It would be crazy if she went up. If she goes up, that means some people's teams have really blown it. So this is also the last week she is eligible for awards, as will be the case when inevitably myself, Tristan, or Scott, or Kyla, or anyone else with only 1 player left loses their last player. And because I'm not there to defend myself, I will choose now, even though it probably was already talked about, to point out that while I may solely be relying on Jonathan, who I'm sure Mikey had a lot of negative things to say about, probably deservedly so, I'll say this. I'm not as worried about just having Jonathan on my tribe right now because Coach is still out there. So as long as Jonathan can be less insane and batshit crazy than the man wearing a velvet paisley shirt, calling himself Coach, giving people nicknames, and doing naked Tai Chi in the woods, as long as he can keep it more together than that guy, I'm at least okay for another vote. So that's my mantra. Can't wait till next week. I've lost everybody, and it's terrible. All right, I think that is it from me. We will cut now to Bree's superlatives, and if there is no cut, that means that, to be honest, we were so busy this week packing and going on 3 different trips at the same time that we didn't get to it. But I promise next week there will be Bree's superlatives if we were off. I think that's it for me. Again, big thank you to Megan and Matt for stepping in as guest hosts this week. Again, one last shot. They are not full hosts. They've not been promoted, but we'll see how they do. Again, I'm recording this before they record theirs. So, hopefully I am sitting here eating my words and you're like, we get it. Stop droning on. They did great. You've probably already tuned out anyway. All right. This has been The League Has Spoken. Oops, No Hosts edition. Until a very chaotic next week. Signing off.